Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Let's Talk Health with Hannah podcast. This is episode 1, and it is a long time coming. I have been wanting to start a podcast since last year in 2025, and I'm not giving you excuses, but there were a lot of things on my plate last year. I was running a business. I have 2 young children. I opened up a Pilates studio, was learning all about being a Pilates practitioner. So I was studying for that. And I honestly think if I would have opened also up the Pandora's box of a podcast, I would have had a mental breakdown. So we've moved it into this year. Despite wanting to start it in February, I'm not going to lie, but it's better to start late than never at all. So here we are in 2026. Now, there is many reasons why I wanted to start this podcast, but the main thing is I want to be able to have a platform where I can just express myself that little bit further. Obviously, social media is a fantastic platform. However, it's so fast paced these days. It's very noisy. And I just want to bring as much support to women as I possibly can through education, encouragement, motivation, give my experiences as well of how I stay fit and how I stay healthy whilst the juggle of life. And this is basically what this podcast is all about. It's all about me and you guys. I'm an online fitness and health coach for females, helping females 30 plus predominantly. I am very passionate to help mothers as well, but not all mothers, not all my clients, all the people that I have helped in the past or now currently are mums, but it is very relative to me. Being a mum of 2 young boys, I'm also pregnant at the moment, 6 months pregnant. So again, just adding to the pile of things in my life by starting this podcast. But I know I'm going to have so much fun with it. And I hope you guys follow me on that journey as well. So let's get started. Let's just talk a little bit. I think it would be a really good thing to talk a little bit about me. I don't want this podcast to be all about me. But I think if you're going to tune in, you're going to listen, you're going to come with me on this journey, I think it's a good thing to kind of know the person behind the voice. So my name is Hannah. I have been within the health and fitness industry for, I don't even know anymore. I've kind of lost count, which is quite bad. I would say maybe 16 years. Yeah, it must be 16 years. I think I got into the fitness industry around 20 and I am now 36. So we're going to go 16 years. And I fell in love with it, honestly, within the first instance. I have always moved my body, was a well, no, sorry, let me rephrase that. Hannah, rein it in. I was not a professional dancer, but I was a competitive dancer. I was a lover of dancing from a very young age. So I started dancing when I was 8 years old. From 8 years old until I was around 20, I danced. That was how I moved my body. And I very quickly learned how movement is just medicine. It's good for you. It's good for your soul. It's good for your energy. It brings me personally so much joy. And that is kind of where that has stemmed from, that importance of me moving my body. But also, I do feel like it's given me the structure and discipline that I need now in my adult life. Dancing, it is pretty intense when you do competitive dancing. It's a lot of lessons. It's going around the country. It's turning up to competitions. It's weekends away, weekenders, all of this fun stuff. But I think that's what kind of instilled in me from a young age, the discipline that you need around that, the practice that you need around that. And like I said, how great it can feel to have something that you are working towards, which I always loved. And that is where my love for movement came from. But obviously, I became a teenager and then I would rather be, hanging around with boys and doing things that I shouldn't have. And that kind of then dwindled off a little bit when I was around 16, 17, 18 onwards. I still did dance. However, it became very apparent to me very soon on that dancing wasn't going to provide me also with the life that I wanted for my adulthood. So I've always wanted a family. I've always wanted a home. I've always wanted kids. And, being a professional dancer, if that was the route that I was going to go down, wouldn't have given me that life that I wanted. It's very hit and miss. I did do auditions for a little while. I did go into London and have that taste of what that environment was like for a little while. And honestly, I just didn't like it from the get-go. It just wasn't me. And that very soon on then pushed me into finding something else that I thought would kind of give me what I wanted, but also what could I give other people? How could I pass that feeling on that I know that I get from movement, for example? And that's when I decided to just stop dancing altogether and join a gym. So for me personally, it was just a way for me keeping fit, me keeping into the best place that I can be, keeping in shape. So I joined a gym. I went into my very first studio and did, I think it was like a legs, bums, and tums class potentially. And honestly, from the get go, that was it. I was like, this is it. This is my calling. This is what I want to do. I want to teach classes. This is so much fun. Everyone's having fun. Everyone's great. Everyone's buzzing. This is it. So like most people starting in this industry, if they did start quite a long time ago, I started in the studio. I taught every class under the sun. I was very lucky in finding a gym that kind of took me on, and they just gave me everything that I needed in terms of, qualifications, practicing on the gym floor, putting me through my personal training certification. I was that, Les Mills queen. I did everything, spin, back-to-back classes. It was the buzz of life. I absolutely loved it. But as time went on, obviously I got older and I fell pregnant with my first son. And at that point I wouldn't have been able to carry on what I was doing, basically. So from that point, when I went back to work, I had to cut things back. When you're a fitness instructor and you're a gym instructor, you're in the gym at 6 a.m. and you don't really leave then until 8 p.m. at night. Yes, you may be able to go home. I used to go home, have a nap, have a bit of lunch, and then I'd be back there again doing all the evening classes. It just wasn't realistic for someone who was going to become a mum. So that made me change direction a little bit. I then went into my own business and started doing more community classes that were more so within my control because I was working for myself. And also it was going to give me more money essentially because I was, charging people to come to me rather than a gym paying me. So from having my first son, that's where I kind of veered more so into, I would guess, personal, running my business by myself and all of that sort of stuff, sort of building a business almost, like getting the taste for that. And then, like, cutting a long story short, went to other gyms, moved to a David Lloyd, ended up doing some really great stuff there, building up maybe a bit more of a client base and a name for myself. And then I was pregnant with my second boy. And then there was COVID. And what I really wanted to focus on when I was pregnant with my second was how can I help women that are also pregnant? Because what I found with my first was that it was very limited. There wasn't much education. There wasn't much support. There wasn't much locally happening where I live anyway, in Oxford. There wasn't a lot to choose from in terms of, well, if I'm pregnant, what do I need to do? I don't even know what exercise at that point was safe, wasn't safe. It was just nothing. There was just nothing out there. And I kind of went through my own training of understanding, okay, well, what is acceptable in pregnancy, or what do I need to learn about within the body? Like, how can I educate myself to then hopefully be able to educate other women in the future? Or, if someone does come to my class, or if someone does need personal training, I know exactly what is going to be beneficial to them. So I then started going down more of that pre and postnatal route to help mothers in that sense, also help myself. I wanted to understand my body more and what I could do in my second pregnancy. So again, I started veering a little bit further away from working in gyms and for other people and for myself and for the community. And that's when I was getting there and lockdown hit. As every fitness instructor in the world is like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Lockdown, it's the end of our careers. But if anything, it probably propelled the fitness industry into a very incredible area, which was online, online classes, online coaching, which is a huge, huge, huge thing now, which I will get to. I'm not going to be talking about this for too long. Trust me. Just stay with me. Stay with me. We're getting there. So lockdown hit, but to be honest, for me, okay, I wasn't making necessarily any money from this, but I honestly didn't care. The community that we managed to build, I had a Instagram page, a YouTube page. We would do live workouts for pre and postnatal women. It was incredible. I loved it. If anyone was a part of that community at the time, I always appreciate you guys because honestly, it was just one of those things. It kept me going personally through lockdown, just having, the people on the live workouts and the messages and all of that sort of stuff. But it really gave me a big desire to be able to continue that path of online. So I always have a massive thank you to anyone that did join me back then. And it's still, if you're still with me right now, then even more amazing. So yeah, thank you for that. But that was where now I guess where I am now is because of that moment. But one thing that I do also want to pay attention to was after having my second baby was how for me I was so empowered. I find women's bodies and what they go through when they have their babies postnatal and all of that. It's just incredible to me. And for me, I felt empowered, but actually when I had my baby, I was kind of like, I don't really feel that empowered by myself anymore. Through pregnancy, I felt amazing and all of that, but I just felt a little bit lost and I felt a little bit deflated, both physically and emotionally and mentally. And I just was like, what am I going to do? Like, I need to do something for myself. I was still teaching classes for online and got back into the community eventually. But it was one of those things for me where I was like, I love teaching classes, but that's not really my time. It's not for me. So I stepped foot into a gym and I started weightlifting. And honestly, this is the big thing of my life because it changed my life so much in so many ways. Weightlifting, it was just what I needed. It was my outlet. It was time for me to work on my body. It was time for me to work on my mind. And what I got pretty quickly from weight training, both physically, mentally, all of that stuff, it was like a light bulb moment. I was like, I need to encourage other women to do this. Like, if I'm feeling like this because I've simply gone to the gym a few times a week and I've picked up some weights and I'm getting stronger and my body is changing in a way that I feel proud of, I feel confident about. I now, don't feel so self-conscious being naked in front of my husband and all that sort of stuff. I need to pass this along. Like, every woman in the world, whether you're a mom or not, needs to feel this. No matter your age, no matter what, you need to feel this. So that's when I then went into learning more about weight training, learning more about what the benefits actually are of developing muscle and what everything else needs to look like in order to support that training. So then it leads you into good nutrition. It leads you into how you actually are sleeping, how you are resting. It leads you into actually coming in touch with your body so much more and starting to understand your body more. So as much as you are benefiting from that one thing, which is your strength training, it's like a ripple effect into everything else because you love it so much. You want it to be the best. You do consider all the other things that tie in with it, your nutrition, your sleep, all of that stuff. So when I got into that, I again was like, right, this is it now. This is what I want to do. I need to be able to. One, I was already qualified. I was a PT. However, I hadn't had much experience in that sector. So I went back to work after my second and I did a lot of PTing on the gym floor, which I really, really enjoyed. And sometimes to this day, I still miss. Maybe I might go back on the gym floor one day. I would never say never because that interaction and being with someone whilst they're, doing a PB or their squat development has got better or they're just like buzzing because they're like, oh my God, that was a great session. Like all that fun, all that stuff that we thrive off as PTs. That I really miss. And I loved that when I was doing it online, when I was doing it on the gym floor. And from that point, got some experience, got my own online coach for myself. So I could understand what it felt like to actually be coached, to get more feedback, to learn more, develop more, all of that sort of stuff. I did that for a couple of years, I think. And then I ventured into wanting to go online myself and be an online coach myself. One, because I could reach more women. Like, how incredible could it be if I could still have the women that I would teach on the gym floor, but actually people that can't come into the gym that I worked at or don't live in my area, I can still help them, if anything, probably more so. So that was one of the main reasons. Not going to lie, because of income as well, obviously. If I can help more people, that's going to also be able to help me. And at the end of the day, I am a mum that has a house, that has a family. And in this day and age, it is an expensive place to be. So, it was one of those things, again, where what can I do more so to provide for myself and provide for my family financially? If I, again, can do online coaching plus on-floor coaching, do a couple of classes here and there, it's a win-win for everybody. I'm all about winning. I'm all about winning for others and winning for myself because, life is too short to be losing at the end of the day. So then, went into online coaching plus PT on the gym floor, did that for some time, learned what I did, grew what I did, and eventually ended up being in a position where I could go fully online full time. And I again, could never ever be where I am without every single woman who came to me and trusted in me and invested in me. So it's always a huge, I'm always so grateful for that, because without that, I wouldn't even be a PT. I would still be doing what I did, 10 years ago, whatever. So it is always with gratitude where I am now. And I love it. I really do love it. There's no better feeling than helping a woman understand that they can look after themselves as well as look after everybody else, or they can go into the gym and build the most confident selves that they've ever been in their life, no matter if they're 30, 40, or 50. There's so much that women kind of lack in terms of self-esteem and confidence and education. It's so confusing out there for women. We're told one thing, we're told another. It's a really heavy place to sit in this, health and fitness industry when there's so much noise and confusion. So for me, it's an importance that I can just give women what they need. Just give them what they need, clear out the noise, make it simple, make it effective, make it fun, and just give them results. Results that aren't just, oh, okay, I look better in a bikini, but results that literally change their life. Like, that is my passion. And I know it's something I can do because I've worked with over hundreds of women at this point doing it. So this is kind of my background, where we're at right now. And it's the reason why I wanted to start this podcast, because I want to, again, help more of you that tune in. So each episode may have a topic, whether it's about fat loss, whether it's about nutrition, strength training, cardio, whether it's just about hormones and more of that female health side of things. I would love to take this podcast to a place where I could end up getting guest speakers on. There are so many people within the industry that I know could educate you as well. So could we get guest speakers on down the line to talk about things more specifically? I'm going to do Q&As. So if you do have any questions, I can use this platform to answer them with a little bit more context and give you everything basically you need under, let's say, one roof, essentially. So yes, I don't think there's anything else that I need to add to that. To be honest, I think that's enough for one day. But I'm very excited to be here. Oh my God, I'm going to say it. This is so is this a bit cringy if I say, can you please like and subscribe? You're like one of those people. No, it's not cringy. Look, we should never worry about what people think, right? We should never worry about feeling a bit silly. This is also one of those things, right? It's like me starting this podcast. Honestly, it took me so long because I was doubting myself and oh, it needs to be perfect. And I need to have everything, ready to go. When's the time? Oh, the time's not right now. It's not right then. And I just thought to myself, if this was a client, a fat loss client, right? Or someone I was speaking to, and they were just saying the exact same thing to me as I'm saying to myself, but, about getting themselves towards their goal, getting themselves started in their diet, getting themselves going into the gym. But what are you talking about? Absolutely not. Stop giving them excuses. You can do what you want to do. Let's go. There's no perfect time. There's no perfect place. There's no perfect moment. It's now. Let's go get it. And I had to kind of give myself that pep talk. So as much as I am is this cringe? No, it's not cringe. Like and subscribe, please. Because if we can get some subscriptions on my channel straight away, then I don't know, it just gives me that feedback, I guess, that we all need to know that, okay, there are people out there that might tune into this and might follow me on this, which is just going to be a nice bit of encouragement and a nice bit of support. So yeah, anyway, that is episode 1. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the next episode.